Okay then, Helldivers, we're back inside of Helldivers 2, and we've got loads to talk about today as the Baskinator has ramped things up inside of the Discord and has started picking up a load of the information that you guys have wanted to hear about, as well as a stealth nerf that seems to have been issued to the vitality booster inside of the game. This is a very, very concerning one because this is not something that we've heard about and we don't know exactly when it got put into play, which means that again, we've experienced a nerf that we just weren't told about. So how many more are sitting in the woodworks? We're going to talk about everything we've got happening today, and then we're going to go through your top comments because you guys had some interesting stuff to say about the Illuminate. Nonetheless, if you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up and subscribe with post notifications turned on. It'd be greatly appreciated. And make sure you check out our sponsor, GamerSups, whose goal is to offer esports athletes and gamers alike with the most effective and healthy energy drink choice in compared to those tinned energy drinks you're used to help you perform to your highest potential, especially during those more crucial moments. Completely keto friendly for low carb and ketogenic diets, and nootropics to sharpen focus and increase reaction time. It's a no-brainer. Links in the description. Use code CloudPlays at checkout. Go and check them out. Now, with that being said, let's see what's happening inside of the game right now. So, really quick, obviously, Helldivers did not make it for the Game of the Year inside of the Game Awards, and that was disappointing on its own, but there is something called the Player's Voice, so you guys can vote yourselves for Helldivers to be the player's choice for the Game of the Year awards. Now, there is some big titles in here, so ridiculously and horribly, it's not likely that we're going to win this, but we need to give it a go. We need to give it a try. So the link's in the description, first link in the sources to go ahead and vote for Helldivers 2 to be your top Game of the Year. Next up, though, we have got some info coming from the Baskinator. It's going to be talking about the DSS because a lot of people were a little bit concerned about how managed democracy works and stuff like that with regards to the DSS. Now, she posted up, howdy divers, many of you have been asking why you were unable to vote for Chewy with the DSS. I spoke to the GM Joel and he confirmed this was a managed democracy algorithm snafu. Probably we shouldn't trust algorithms. Sounds a little too automatomy. Yeah, I'm fully aware. Until the algorithm is officially repatriated, Joel will be doing some manual oversight of this function. Now obviously this is a big one because the DSS is pretty much controlled by us and by our votes. And does this mean that Joel is able just to sort of control where the DSS can actually go? A lot of people were again wondering that and how the metric actually works, and she stated right here that that is incorrect. What he means is that he will be able to manually checking over the DSS settings to make sure that stuff like that doesn't happen. He won't just drive the DSS around or anything, so don't panic on that one. The DSS has got no sort of like fiddles on it where Joel is able to control where it goes, what happens to it, and what changes that it can make. So don't stress too much about that one. But if you guys were wondering why we couldn't vote it over to Chewy, well, that's exactly why. And I think that that is a bit of an annoyance considering it's such a new product. Obviously, these new things do come up and these problems do happen, but some problems are happening that we didn't even know were happening. And we're talking about a half cut on the damage AoE survival with regards to vitality. It's an interesting one because Mr. John Spreadsheet inside of the Discord has been digging around the files and found some interesting variances. Now, we started off with a message right here that states ransom testing 150 AR with fortified and vitality is reducing the explosion damage by 16.8%. This notably denies the ability to survive an 800 damage AoE. Not sure where the discrepancy is occurring between the game and the wiki. Now, the wiki was obviously talking back from May, and this was when the numbers were officially sort of like taken. We've not had anything in terms of communication from Arrowhead with regards to any nerf that had happened to this, and we're going to talk about that part in just a moment. But it just states right here that it's possible it changed at some point. Numbers from 6 months ago also suggest a 0.9 times multiplier. Now this is very, very interesting because this isn't the first time that we've actually had this sort of stuff happen. A few months ago we obviously had a ginormous set of changes. There was so many, it was ridiculous, although some of the nerfs in there inside of the buffs, which ironically were not forgotten about and weren't missed out of the patch notes, the nerfs themselves were not issued out to us, and we were just kind of like left to just kind of figure it out for ourselves. And when we felt the difference, it all came out that the nerfs were then put into play. Now obviously John states right here, to be clear, we don't have a hard confirm that it was nerfed or when, just that current tested numbers differ from tested numbers in May. I imagine it probably happened with the big sweep sweeping changes in the 60-day plan or escalation of freedom. Now, what we do know is that they've already stated that by fiddling around with some numbers and fiddling around with some things, it does have a bounding effect on others, and we know that to be the case, and that is absolutely fine. But the problem is that these things are not being communicated, which has always been sort of like the biggest problem with inside of Arrowhead. The fact that these numbers have been cut and the damage sponging for this would have been a half cut, apparently. At least that's what the numbers are stating. With no communication to that, that is a very, very dark time period indeed. And the problem is that they are definitely working in the background with things, and hopefully this does get approached at some point, as we've had no response from the Baskinator or anyone else from the dev team with regards to this. But I think this is something they definitely need to approach. It's become quite big news when it comes to the actual game functionality, and inside the Discord it was quite a big conversation, and it seems that at the moment Peterstead and Shams have gone pretty much mute. Now, Baskinator has stated exactly what that means, and obviously I think that the opinion on this is completely biased, but it states usually if they have gone quiet, it means that they are hard at work, since those are our top dogs. Whenever I'm in the office, things have been pretty serious and focused on getting stuff done, but I know from the outside it looks like nothing is happening. That's why I wanted to at least get the info on the DSS pushed out, something other than the award season post. Now, we know full well that they are working on a lot, and obviously yesterday would have been our patch update day, but we didn't really experience anything of any substance to be able to actually change the game for the better or even for the worse. All we found out was that there may have well potentially been a stealth nerf, of which again is not completely confirmed. It seems to be a little bit frustrating right now, and although the changes are starting to happen and it seems like puzzle pieces are being put into place with the latest call to action inside of the dispatch notes regarding roughly around the Illuminate, it's not likely, but it again still points in that direction. It does seem like a lot of puzzle pieces are being put in play, and hopefully we'll experience something very soon, as Twinbeard before his departure did state that the likelihood is we'll receive something before the end of the year, because realistically the time period between the last big patch and the next one shouldn't really be over the end of the year time scaling. It would take it over their normal scale periods, so we'll have to wait and see what's happening. But I'm waiting to see exactly what response that we get to these quote-unquote stealth nerf accusations. It'll be an interesting one indeed, as right now he's also digging into the stability actions as well, so we'll have to see exactly how they pan out and whether they've been changed without our knowing. But we're going to take a look at your top comments as of right now. This first one right here states, every month since launch, one YouTuber or another has made the claim that the Illuminate are coming sooner than we expect. Now, unfortunately, we expected the Illuminate to come already, so they are obviously not coming sooner than we expect. But now that we are in a state of mind where the Illuminate are probably not making it before GTA 6 makes it, I think that actually we should be quite pleasantly surprised. As to when they're coming, nobody knows. I don't even think that Arrowhead really know, but all of the things in hand with regards to the depot changes and all of the stuff inside of the Steam DB does indicate that the Illuminate are at least being tested out before the live time does eventually come. I'm hoping it's before 2025, but I've been yet to be told wrong up until this point numerous times, so we'll have to wait and see. The next one states right here, a developer sneezes, the squids are almost here. And I think that realistically the way that we can kind of look at this is we're just all at the point of being optimistic as hell. We all know that this game has got quite a lot of potential. We are really, really optimistic that this game could potentially make its way into the next gradient of where it could belong, and I'm hopeful, although not convinced. I'm definitely hopeful. And this next one right here states, big theory, the Illuminate will invade during the Game Awards, or some kind of Illuminate trailer will drop during the Game Awards. Now, I've heard quite a lot with regards to the trailers dropping during the Game Awards, and it would be really nice to see, and I would be so excited to actually see that, although we've had no confirmation with regards to anything like that, and we'll just have to wait and see as to when that actually comes along. And I'm really hoping that that isn't quote-unquote the content drop is going to be a trailer through any sort of imagination. I'm really hoping that there's actually something in game that we can utilize before the end of the year closes off. But right now, it'll be an interesting feature. I think the next big update will be fixing the DSS and making that a little bit more viable with the changes that the Baskinator was speaking about just the other day. Other than that, I probably wouldn't expect much more, which would be a massive shame considering the Sweden holidays run through the first few months of the new year, so we could end up with a really, really quiet period. But don't panic, PoE 2 is coming around the corner, and that game is going to absolutely break industry standards. So we'll see exactly how that one pans out. Nonetheless, if you haven't already, smash that like button and subscribe with post notifications turned on. Thanks again for watching, guys. Appreciate your faces, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.